Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Vechain. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to watch that before watching this one. It's going to be linked in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Now, let's jump straight into the TA. Taking a look at the daily chart for Vechain, as you can see, we're breaking out of this channel down pattern, which is very bullish, and we still have the same Fibonacci retracement set up on the chart with the swing high printed in November of 2021 and the swing low printed in May of 2021. And we've reached our technical target at the 1.618 fib level at 0.02362 cents. And we even retraced below that, and we are now coming back up to retest the 1.414 Fibonacci level as resistance. So let's zoom in and see what's going on. Now, as you can see, we do have a support block here as well. So if I remove the fib levels and the channel down pattern, you can see that we have this support block set up based off of this low that we printed in June last year and based off of this low that we printed in July of last year. So as you can see, we bounced off that low in June, came up, bounced off of that in July, and then once you kept coming back down below that, this support block basically turned into resistance, and then we broke above here, and now what I'm looking for is another back test of support of this support block, which is set up from 0.02350 down to 2 cents. So anywhere in that range, I think, is a great buying opportunity. If, however, we see a fake out or a breakdown below that, rather than a fake out, I should say. So a breakdown below this over here, just like we had here at the end of 2022, that is going to be an even better buying opportunity for Vechain. So if we continue down here and do something like this, this right here is going to be your golden buying opportunity. Now, what we don't want to be doing, obviously, is we don't want to be losing this low, because from here, we're hoping to start a local uptrend. So we want to come back down to the support block, hopefully, and see a bounce from there and continue to the upside, breaking this February high. That is the plan, hopefully. Unless, the Fed and the SEC have other plans, which I'm sure they do. Now, in November, we did print this local high as well, and it was broken here in February. So that is bullish. So we already printed a higher high. Now what we need to do is print a higher low, and we just don't want to come back down below that December low. That's all. So hopefully we can do that. Now let's bring back the channel down pattern and see what's going on here. Potentially, what could also happen in a very bearish scenario, you could say, is that we might come back down to retest the top of the support block, or rather the channel down pattern. So you break out of a resistance level, you typically see the price come back down and retest that as support before you continue to the upside. So this resistance level here that we've had ever since November of 2021 has yet to be retested properly. So we want to come back down and retest that and continue to the upside. This could provide us with a nice double bottom pattern, hopefully. But like I said, as long as we hold this low, we're good for continuation. Now, if we were to drop down lower, that could be quite negative. We could set up some targets in that case, just to see where our technical targets would be. So we would be sitting at around about a cent for our technical targets. That's the 1.618 here. As you can see, for the smaller fib, we took the swing high in February and the swing low in December, and our 1.618, in case we break the swing low in December, is going to be below 1 cent. And that's what we're going to be targeting if we break this low. But on the larger fib, you could start targeting the 2.272 Fibonacci retracement, which is basically at 1 cent as well. But hopefully that doesn't come to fruition, and hopefully we continue making profits in 2023. However, I do have to admit, I would love to stay in the bear market for as long as possible, because I want to accumulate huge positions and I want to stake my crypto and just wait for the bull market. And once I'm prepared for the bull market, like fully prepared, then obviously we can go into 2025 with our pockets filled up and bags full, and we can just simply wait for the crowds to start buying into Bitcoin at $100,000, and they're going to be our exit liquidity. You know, that's how the markets work. We buy it at these low prices, and we sell off of these people who are going to be entering up here at, you know, at the all-time high prices. So this is where you sell, but you sell to someone, and that someone is entering at all-time high prices. So you are winning because someone is losing. That's how the markets work. So let's jump into the daily RSI and see what's going on here. So we're coming back down to this support block once again, and we're seeing another local bounce, and then we came back down again. And we talked about this support block previously, and we did see a nice bounce here in February with a nice move into the overbought once again. So this was a very tradable event. You could have traded this, and before we've actually seen this held as support and as resistance. But right now, what we are targeting, as we have discussed in previous updates, we're looking for a back test of support of this ascending pink support trend line. So we did have a couple of fake outs below, once in May and once in December here, but for the most part, once we saw a touch of that pink trend line, it sent us back up towards the upper pink trend line. Not every time, but most of the time. So hopefully that's what's going to happen here. And once we see a pullback, we come back down here towards the pink trend line, and that's where we enter. That is the plan, at least. So let's switch over to the Binance website. Taking a look at the weekly chart, as you can see, we are a bit overextended from the 20 EMA still, so we're hoping for a pullback down to the 20 and to the top of this green support block, which is at roughly 0.02303 cents. That's going to be a great buying opportunity, and that is a 16% pullback from where we are right now. So I would just hold my horses for now before buying into Vechain, and maybe just get in at the 20 weekly EMA, but that's just me. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor, but this green support block that I gave you months ago before we even entered it was a very good accumulation zone. So anywhere below 2 cents was a really, really good buying area. And it's set up based off of this trading range that we had in 2020 with the swing high in August and the swing low in November. We broke above that, and now we're coming back to support, or to back test it as support, and from there we're probably going to move to the upside, hopefully. So as long as we don't break the trend here, the macro trend, because you can see that in the macro trend, or at the macro picture, if you'd like to say that. So we're printing a move to the upside, a move to the downside. So hopefully the next move to the upside is going to be the next bull market, and you can see that we're actually building an uptrend. So we have a low, we have a higher low, we have a high, and the next bull market high is going to be the next higher high. So this is a very healthy trend for Vechain, because what you see for a lot of projects is that the prices are actually or the price has gone down below their, for example, March 2020 low, or something in that regard, where it breaks the previous swing low or major swing low. And that's not the case for Vechain here, and the chart is actually looking very healthy. So that's for the weekly chart. And as you can see, what also happened here is that we had a very nice tradable event where we broke out of the falling wedge pattern, and we retraced all the way up to the technical target at 0.03222, which we discussed multiple times. And this was a very tradable event. You could have either entered over here off of this support, or you could have entered on this breakout. So what traders do is they wait for the breakout of a pattern, and then they buy into the token at the back test of support. So you could have bought back at that back test of support of the previous resistance of the falling wedge, and you could have taken profits at the target here, which was roughly 65% trade, which was not bad for a swing trade in a bear market. Now, next up, our major resistance levels here are obviously the August high, which we failed to break above at 0.03220. Then we have the swing low that we printed in March last year at 0.04430, and obviously the 55 EMA right now sitting at 0.03451. So as long as we stay above the 20 EMA and we get the bullish cross initiated this year, that's going to be a very bullish signal for 2024, as this is technically your bull market indicator, the same way the bearish cross is your bear market indicator. For example, taking a look back at the previous bullish cross in 2020, as you can see in June, you had that bullish cross, and since then, you've really been in a very massive uptrend. So since that bullish cross, which happened all the way here, you saw an appreciation of around about 3,100%. So if we get the bullish cross sometime, let's say, at the end of this year, closer to the end of this year, you know, a 3,000% move to the upside would put us at $1.50, right? And it doesn't have to play out exactly like it did already, but I'm just saying that, you know, once we get the bullish cross on the weekly chart, that's a massive, massive indicator. And taking a look at the weekly RSI, you can see that we had a pretty strong move to the upside. We're breaking above our major resistance level at 51.6 on the RSI. And as you can see with these pink spheres, I have highlighted every single point of contact with this support or resistance trend line. At different times, it was a support and a resistance. And we broke above right now seemingly effortlessly, and we want to back test it as support, but I do think we're going to be coming back down lower, and I do think we might come back down to this level here, which was a pretty significant support as well at 45.5. So we saw a couple of bounces from that level in 2020 and 2021, and even a back test of resistance in December of 2021. The stochastic is slowly recovering from the oversold. The settings for the stochastic are 28 and 14, just so we get less false signals. The MACD is looking healthy. If we get a bearish cross, that's going to be our sort of looking glass indication of a pullback. That sort of tells you the future, really. Not really, but you understand what I mean. So once we got the bearish cross here in May, we saw a strong pullback afterwards. So this just helps you determine where the trend is going to be heading. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I have for Vechain. If I missed out anything important, please let me know down below in the comment section. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. Feel free to check out my Patreon. And I'm going to see you in the next update. Take care.